But also, the NHL season just kicked off last night. We had three great games. The other two are kind of like lost by 2 or 3 goals. But the first game was good. Blackhawks and the Panthers surprisingly was close because Blackhawks usually like a poverty franchise right now. Like they're like one of the worst in the NHL, but they hang in there. They hung in there with the Stanley Cup chance, but only lost by a goal. So give the Chicago Blackhawks a lot of credit. They lost, but still, they battled. They hung in there the whole time. It just, they couldn't score in that third period because Bobrovsky was just playing lights out. That Panthers D was good too. So yeah, and then the Penguins shutting out the Rangers, of course, spoiling Mike Sullivan's Rangers head coaching debut. So Penguins stick it to their old coach after they just let him go. So yeah, and Colorado Avalanche dominated the Kings. But yeah, the NHL's back. Of course, my Buffalo Sabres are back at it tomorrow. They start their season against the New York Rangers at home in Buffalo. They also got a game Saturday in Boston. But of course, Instagram Mick will be attending the Sabres game this Monday afternoon. This upcoming Monday. It'll be the 12:30 start time, puck drop here, afternoon game. I'm looking forward to that game. Just because they're against the Colorado Avalanche, a really good hockey team. So yeah, it's gonna be me, my brother, and my brother's girlfriend. So yeah, it's gonna be a really fun hockey game. I can't wait for Monday. Plus, because the Bills play, it's gonna be really an action-packed day for being a Buffalo sports fan. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this NHL season start. But my pick for that one, obviously, before I can talk about college football in the NFL, it's definitely the Sabres. Sabres are going to win Monday for sure. I'm there. I think they'll win tomorrow. I think they'll be 3-0 after the first 3 games. I don't know why. I think Sabres are going to have a really good season this year. I always say it every year, but this time I really feel it. This has got to be the year. Lindy Ross on his last year his contract. We're trying to get Tuck extension. I feel like this has got to be the year we finally make the playoffs. We got to go all in. So I'm good to have hockey back this week. Let's recap last week's college football games. Nothing really good on the Friday slate. So let's see. Georgia dominated Kentucky like I figured. So Georgia had a bounce back game after a loss to Alabama. So they took care of business. Didn't struggle with Kentucky this time. They just blew them out pretty much. Good win for the Georgia Bulldogs. Solid win for them. Then Michigan pretty much won by 2 touchdowns. Kind of their style kind of play, but they beat Wisconsin. But just a kid, how you doing? Thanks for joining in. Thanks for watching. And what else big games you also had this week? My Virginia Tech Hokies took a tough loss. Yeah, that was a tough one. A tough week of football for me. Both my teams, in college and NFL, both losing. Bills suffered their first loss, and the Virginia Tech just not the greatest game they played. We were just undisciplined, honestly. That's why we lost 30-23. We had still had chances, but just like Wake Forest were more disciplined. It showed it. But missing a field goal made it worse too. So yeah, tough loss for my Hokies this weekend. Clemson dominated Bill Belichick's teams. So Bill Belichick, his first year as Carolina head coach, he's 2-3. Clemson got an easy win with him. I tell you, there's already been talks about after this season, or maybe at some point they might get rid of Bill Belichick after only one season. Dang. They're thinking of moving on from already. They were talking about his contract buyout already just today. So yeah, things aren't looking good in Chapel Hill for Bill Belichick this year. In these big games, they have struggled. TCU they lost. Goodness. And of course, the biggest one was Clemson. They just got their ass totally kicked. Then Pitt made it look easy after making a quarterback change. They made it look easy on Boston College, 48-7. It was not even close, that one. Then you go on to the 3:30 window of games. The biggest upset of the weekend, UCLA beating Penn State. I did not expect that. So Penn State's lost 2 in a row. But boy, I think Penn State's not making the playoffs this year. I think they still might, but they are just bad right now. I thought, okay, because Oregon's a really good team, but they just look like absolute dog shit against a bad UCLA team who did not lead at all for like the first 5 games or something, like first 4, and they just they come out they lead, but they also beat Penn State. So good for UCLA, despite the coaching change. They went through a lot, and they just come out there probably the biggest win of the season for them. Seriously, good one for that group over there. That's had a rough start to the year. So UCLA, their first win of the year comes against Penn State. Wow. Another upset, too. Florida knocking off number 9 Texas. So Texas is now unranked. So the Billy Napier era in Florida still is kind of on a roller coaster ride still. But, hey, another big win for them. They take down an elite team. But, boy, it shows the Arch Manning, like, they overhyped him. That's why he's overrated still. They just showed it, like losing to Florida. I know it's a tough environment. But, man, you got to win some of these games that you should be winning. I cannot believe it. I mean, that was kind of. I mean, I didn't feel good about it, but at the same time, I felt good Texas was going to win this one. But they looked ahead. They are so focused on Oklahoma more than this one. Then Alabama, look like the same old Alabama dominance back to their dominant selves. I mean, they lost to Vanderbilt last year. I had Vanderbilt winning this game, but Alabama proved me wrong in that one. So that's a good win for them. Beating a really good Vanderbilt team, and got a little redemption after last year's loss. So I'm impressed with them. And you had the night games too. Like Ohio State pretty much made it look easy on Minnesota. No surprise there. 42-3. The other one I had picked, I mean, Nebraska. We're in a close one with Michigan State, but they pulled away in the second half, like especially in the fourth quarter. So Nebraska's 4-1. Michigan State's lost back-to-back games. So that's a huge one right there, And Virginia beat Louisville. Virginia wins another big game. Ethan St. John, thanks for tuning in. How you been? So you have Virginia winning in overtime. The second straight game, the University of Virginia's won in overtime. It's wild how to think about that one too. But of course, the biggest game last week was Florida State, Miami, and just Florida State. They made it interesting at the end, but wasn't enough. Miami dominated this one. Carson Beck looked great. So Miami's 5-0. Florida State's dropped their last two. Oh, nice. That sounds good. But yeah, Florida State, they're unranked too. I mean, actually, they're 25th. I can't believe they're still ranked, but I kind of get Miami's a good team, but still, like, they lost to Virginia. Ooh, chin chips too. But yeah, that's the recap of last week. Let's look at this week's college football schedule this week. There's some really good matchups this week. Start with Saturday. Let's look at the noon slate. Ohio State and Illinois. Ohio State's ranked number 1. Illinois is ranked 17. Of course, Illinois is 5-1, having a really good year. And this game's at Illinois. Ohio State, number 1 team in the nation, defending national champs. I don't know about this one. This one, I like Ohio State in this one, but I'm picking Illinois. I just think this kind of reminds me of 2007, when Illinois upset Ohio State back in 07. It's giving me those vibes. So I got to go Illinois as my upset pick this week. I think Ohio State is finally going to go down. Especially in a tough road environment. Especially not just that, but just because Illinois. But they did struggle in the one big game against Indiana. So I like the Illini as my big upset this week. Illinois takes down the number 1 team in the nation. Takes on the defending champs. I have schooled it. Yeah, but that's how I like this one. Illinois for sure to beat the Buckeyes. Alabama, Missouri. This should be a really good matchup at noon on ABC. Alabama's ranked 8 and Missouri's ranked 14. This is a top 15 matchup. Missouri has yet to lose a game. Alabama just came off a huge win over Vanderbilt. This one's kind of tricky, I'll tell you this week. Yes, it's in Missouri, but I still like Alabama. I really do. I think they're for real. I think they're back themselves. I thought they're gonna be bad this year, but after that Florida State loss, but no, they're back to themselves. Honestly, Alabama's gonna be a lot improved team from last year. They had the growing pains of a new coach. Now they're looking better. Pitt and Florida State, both teams 3-2. Of course, Pitt got back on the winning track last week. Florida State's lost the last 2. This is at Florida State. Yeah, this is a must-win game for Florida State. Honestly, they've already lost back-to-back. They don't know what their season's gonna be like. This is why this is a must-win. This game could define their season. Because if they lose this one, I feel like they're really gonna go really downhill. They got some great talent over there. The thing is, I can't count on Pitt. Pitt's a good team, but I like Florida State because it's at home. But if they lose this one, I'd say it's time to move on from Mike Norvell. So I like Florida State in that one. Now the 3:30 slate of games. This is where College Game Day is going to be at this weekend at Oregon. So it'll be number 7 Indiana taking on number 3 Oregon. It's a top 10 matchup. God, it's been. I think they were just in Oregon like last year, maybe the year before that. But yeah, it's good to have it there as usual. Indiana have another great season. Being top. My teacher's dead. My class. Oh, that's nice. But yeah, this one's a tricky one to pick too. Oregon, I mean, last time Indiana had a big game, they blew out Illinois. That's Illinois' only loss too. But still, these are battle of unbeaten though in this matchup. This is not Illinois. Oregon's really good. I got Oregon win this one. I think they'll take care of business in this one. I mean, I got so much respect for Indiana. The last 2 years have been just amazing. Their football programs just turned around. Game I played. I'm just. I'm playing. I mean, I'm just pretty much previewing all the college football and NFL games this week. Yeah, that's what I'm pretty much doing. But here's the one other big game this weekend. The Red River rivalry. But this time, Texas is unranked and Oklahoma's in the top 10. They're ranked 6th. Oklahoma's yet to lose a game. Texas needs to win this one, but I'm actually going to. Thanks for tuning in tonight, man. Appreciate it, Ethan. But yeah, I got to go Oklahoma. Usually I would pick Texas always because I never liked Oklahoma, but I just think Texas is pretty overrated this season. I got to go the Sooners. They've owned this rivalry. They're going to continue it. I think Oklahoma wins this one. No disrespect to Texas. It's just right now, they have struggled this year. I mean, they were ranked, preseason ranked, I think, number 1. Frank. Good go on. You got the Frank Gaines there, Mick. I appreciate yeah, so I gotta go Oklahoma this one. Here's my game. Virginia Tech, my college football team, Virginia Tech's playing against Georgia Tech. So my Hokies, Virginia Tech Hokies. I mean, big underdogs. Obviously, I know we're 2-4 and Georgia Tech's 5-0 and they're ranked 13th. Goodness. Georgia Tech's had a great season so far. They beat Clemson. I think they won a tough road game against Colorado. I mean, they found a way to beat Wake Forest. They're having a really good season so far. But this one, no one's thinking about this being upset, but this could be one of the unexpected ones. Yes, I'm being biased taking Virginia Tech, but just saying, like, Georgia Tech is due for a loss because they got lucky against Wake Forest last time they played. Yeah, so I'm going to take Virginia Tech in this one, obviously. Iowa State and Colorado. Iowa State just dropped their first loss last week to Cincinnati. Colorado, rough year for Coach Deion Sanders, or I like to call him Coach Prime. Yeah, this one could be a tricky one for Iowa State. They lost last week in Cincinnati. They got another tough road test, but I think Iowa State bounces back. Much as I want to see Coach Prime pull off the upset, for I like to see Colorado pull off, but they're just not as good. They don't have Shedeur. They don't have Travis Hunter. They're both moving on to the pros. So I'm gonna go Iowa State. I think this is the game they got to bounce back and win. So I like them in this one. Penn State's unranked after starting the preseason rankings at number 2, like another overrated team. They're up against Northwestern. This is at Penn State, so I'm gonna go Penn State. Still, I think this because it's overrated, but I think there's no way they're losing Northwestern. Honestly, I just don't see them losing 3 in a row. So I gotta go Penn State in this one. Now I got some big SEC night games here. One, Florida versus Texas A&M. Florida knocked off a top 10 team last week in Texas. They beat number 9. Now they go into Texas A&M in a tough road environment out in College Station, Texas. Ooh, I could take Florida, but I was like, nah. Texas A&M is just too good. I just don't see Florida making big back-to-back big wins. I mean, as much as it'd be great to see for Billy Napier to keep his job still, but yeah, I like Texas A&M this one. They're having a really good year. They came off a huge win with Notre Dame. They're having a really good season. I like the Aggies this one. 7:30 on ABC Saturday Night Football. It is it's really one of the oldest rivalries for the Southern like SEC. Georgia at Auburn. This is a good matchup here. Georgia just came off a huge win last week over Kentucky, but man, this is my upset pick in this one. I got to go Auburn this week. Auburn's playing a lot better this year. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Here's why I see Auburn win this one. Number one, I mean, Georgia could see them slipping up this one. They already lost to Alabama, but I just think Auburn's due for a big time win in the Hugh Freeze era. Especially because if it was in Georgia, I would take Georgia easy, but this is at Auburn in prime time. Of course, I got to go them. Last but not least, 7:30 on NBC, number 15, Michigan. Yeah, I appreciate that. Michigan, USC. This is at LA. This would be a good matchup, because the winning program, probably two of the winningest programs in college football. Obviously, Michigan, too. They've had so many great wins too. I mean, of course, had a recent national championship. USC wins the last 10. They won a title. But I gotta go Michigan this one. I mean, much so it's a tough road test for them, but I gotta go Michigan this one. I like them, and just because they're having an impressive year, I think that identity's back for Michigan. Those are my college football picks this week. Let's recap last week, week 5. It was kind of a rough week for me, and I included losing my pick of the week in the NFL picks. The Rams surprisingly like laid an egg and lost in overtime to the 49ers. I mean, 49ers without Brock Purdy, and they still managed to win in overtime because the Rams fumbled. That was just crazy. That was a good Thursday night game to watch, but still, I just could not believe 49ers pulled it off because they were big underdogs going this one, especially with their quarterback being out for this game. And you had a good one in London. That was a thriller. I mean, it came down to the end. I mean, Browns were leading. They look like they're going to win this one, but Carson Wentz throws pretty much the go-ahead touchdown to Jordan Addison, pretty much win the game for the Vikings. But the Browns made a stupid play by staying in bounds. They had a good pass and everything. But still, Dylan Gabriel looked all right, for his NFL debut. But still, Vikings came out on top in this one in London. The Miami Dolphins and Carolina Panthers. I cannot believe how bad the Dolphins choked. Oh well. But yeah, the Dolphins, they were up 17-0. And they just choked. And left the Panthers, came all the way back and won. So, boy, things are looking really rough in Miami right now for the Dolphins. Losing to the Panthers. How does that happen? I just can't believe it. But give credit to Rico Dowdle. Over 200 yards rushing. He gets a touch. He had a masterpiece kind of day. Then the Cowboys just drubbed the New York Jets. I really thought the Jets would pull this upset off. I don't know why. I thought the Jets would do for a win, but Dallas looked dominant. It was one of the times Dallas actually looked like a dominant team. But now they're gonna get all confident, get all cocky. The Dallas fans will get all cocky about this one, but we'll see. But man, Jets worst team in football, I think, this year. They always are, but it's I thought it'd be like the Titans and the Saints, but I think the Jets are the worst team in the NFL now. Things never change for the Jets. The Colts made it look easy on the Raiders. Boy, they just made their defense dominated the Raiders. And Daniel Jones, or Indiana Jones, they call him now, he looked great again. The Colts leading that AFC South still. They've been the surprise team this year. And the Eagles, the defending champs, finally lost their first game of the year. They lost to the Broncos. They choked a big lead, a double-digit lead, too. Denver Broncos came all the way back and winning in Philadelphia. Give credit to Bo Nix. I did not expect him. I really doubted this Denver team last week. I really had the Eagles. I thought the Eagles were going to blow them out. But, man, congratulations to Denver. Seriously, that's a big win for them. Knock out the Super Bowl champs on the road, too. And the New Orleans Saints finally get their first win. I really thought the Giants were going to win because the Saints are so bad. But, man, Saints got momentum after keeping it close to Buffalo. They beat the Giants. Not only did Kellen Moore get his first one head coach, Spencer Rattler finally gets his first one as a starter because he didn't win it all last year. And they started out 0-4. Congrats to the Saints. Yes, they're going to have a bad year, but still, they finally got a win. And this one, I called it. I knew the Texans were going to beat the Ravens, but I did not expect it to be that bad, honestly. Because I know they're missing Lamar, but man, the Texans just steamrolled the Ravens. The Ravens have the worst defense in football. I thought the Cowboys had the worst defense, but boy, this Ravens defense is so pathetic. They're the most talented team, and they're already 1-4. Ravens might be back, but I don't know if they're going to get back to that way. But seriously, they overhyped the Ravens. They're a Super Bowl contender. They don't look like it. I know they've had a lot of injuries, but still, they're not a Super Bowl contender. The Ravens absolutely are overrated. Derrick Henry has not been the same Derrick Henry we've been seeing most of his NFL career. He's fumbled in 2 games that costed him the Detroit Lions and the Bills. He fumbled twice. I mean, he's not produced as much lately. Because he had a great game against the Bills. Remember that? And all of a sudden, he's not been the same all of a sudden. But the Tennessee Titans also got their first win of the year. The rookie Cam Ward. I mean, what a comeback for the Titans. They were down as much as 15. And I can't believe they came all the way back. Cardinals, big blown lead. I mean, they got lucky against the Panthers and won, but this time they choked it and lost. Can't trust Arizona in that one. And I took the Titans in spread, so that was a good pick for me last week. Buccaneers won in a thriller of the Seahawks. It was a high-scoring game between Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. 2 quarterbacks that rejuvenized their career. What a game that was. Buccaneers had a game-winning field goal, but still, good game to both teams. Detroit covered the spread. They won by double digits. Bengals, once again, losing by double digits again. I mean, they played a little bit better, but still, they're going to get their ass kicked a lot. And the Commanders, they really surprised me with a win last week. I really thought the Chargers were going to win, but Jay Daniels comes back, and they just looked great. The defense dominated the Chargers. Chargers look helpless right now. And my Buffalo Bills, don't even get me started on last week's game. That was so embarrassing. Seriously. Low scoring in the first half. We fumbled twice the first half. Second half, we got our offense finally going, and all of a sudden, Josh gets picked. We kept getting so many penalties. And you know what? Diggs, who's washed up as hell. He's God. You let the Bills defense let Stephon Diggs go over 100 yards receiving. That's a Super Bowl, but still, that's embarrassing, man. Losing to the Patriots. I know the Patriots are good, but I'm still pissed because we're a Super Bowl contender. The Bills are. I don't know if they're looking like it after that one. KC sucks too. I'll be getting that right now, actually. The Chiefs had a 14-0 lead, and then they choked Monday night, including that Mahomes throws a pick six. So Jaguars, I know the Chiefs aren't as good as they were, but still, the Jaguars, I'd say watch out for this team. Oh, go Yanks, cute. Appreciate that. I got the jersey on. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I cannot believe the Kansas City Chiefs choked that one. I had a feeling that the Jaguars were going to win, but I did not expect Chiefs to blow it because they were in control. Mahomes pick six turned the things around. Then Trevor Lawrence trips. The O-line tripped him, and all of a sudden he still gets up and runs it in for the touchdown. That was the craziest touchdown I've seen. And Jacksonville pulled off the win. So, yeah. Bills did suffer their first loss, but Kansas City's 2-3. Baltimore's 1-4. I think the AFC runs through either Buffalo or Indianapolis right now. Even Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's in the mix, too. This AFC's been wild, but it's been a weird kind of season. Some of these teams are surprising me. But let's move on to Week 6 to finish off the night. My picks for Week 6. Starting with Thursday Night Football tomorrow. The Philadelphia Eagles are at the New York Giants. The spread's 7.5. And I'm taking Philly to cover. And this is my pick of the week, folks, as well. Just because the Eagles are pissed after last week losing the Broncos. They are just pissed off after the loss of the Broncos. They're going to come out there and just steamroll the Giants. Besides, this is the Giants team that just lost the Saints. So, yeah, I like the Eagles winning by at least 8 points or more. Then we got to the third straight week. We got an AM game. This is the second straight week. It'll be in London. It'll be the Denver Broncos at the New York Jets. The Broncos are 7.5-point favorites. I'm going to take the Jets in the points this one. I don't know why. I just think it'll be a lot closer than this. For some reason, this is like Broncos had a close game with the Titans week 1. I could see it being like this, especially because it's in London. But I'm starting to feel like the Jets might actually win this weekend. Maybe not, but I don't know. I just feel like Jets are eventually going to win a game this year at some point. So I'll take the Jets and the points. I don't know. Because overseas, I don't know why. I just see it. Denver late, struggle, have a letdown, especially after a huge win for the Eagles. The Pittsburgh Steelers host the Cleveland Browns. Steelers, after that impressive win in Ireland over the Vikings. Oh, yeah, they're back at it. They're playing the Browns, and the Browns just lost to the Vikings in London. So it's an interesting one how this goes. Steelers are favored by 5.5. I think they'll cover because the Browns are just getting back from across the pond, getting back from London. So, yeah, Steelers are going to win easily in this one. Cardinals and Colts. The Cardinals choked last week. The Colts looked dominant, so Colts will cover the 6.5-point spread easily. Cardinals suck. And the Colts are for real this year. Seriously, so yeah, definitely the Colts will win easily. The LA Rams are favored by 7.5 on the road against the Ravens. I'm not going to take the Rams spread after last week's game, so I'm taking the Ravens and the points. I'm not taking that one. So, yeah, I'm taking Baltimore instead. I just don't feel comfortable with the Rams covering that much on the road. Seahawks, Jaguars. This should be really good for the 1 o'clock slate, honestly. Seahawks did come off a tough loss to the Buccaneers. Jaguars just came a huge win over the Chiefs. I think Seahawks will win this one. I just think it's a letdown game for the Jaguars after a win over the Chiefs. I got to go with the Seahawks on the road this one. Dallas Cowboys at the Carolina Panthers. This will be an interesting one. Cowboys down with the Jets. Well, meanwhile, the Panthers had a comeback win over the Dolphins. I think the Cowboys still have one of the worst defense in the league. I'm taking the Panthers. I don't know why. I just think Bryce Young has a legacy kind of game because he's playing against a bad defense. I'm going Panthers. Cowboys are known to choke games like these. So I'm going the Panthers. And LA Chargers at the Miami Dolphins. God, Chargers lost back-to-back games. Meanwhile, Dolphins choked against the Panthers. Oh, but I gotta go with the Chargers. I think they need to get back on track. The Chargers need to get back on track in this one. Dolphins really suck. So I gotta go with the Chargers in this one. Patriots and the Saints. Here we go. New England Patriots had a big win over the Bills. Yes. When the Saints got their first win of the season over the Giants. 3.5. Patriots are favored. I think the Patriots will win this one because the Saints are just New Orleans Saints are just ass this year. Seriously, they are. And yes, they won because they played the Giants, but they ain't gonna beat New England. No, Drake May looks legit right now. Now the 4:00 games. There's 3 4:00 games this week. Tennessee Titans at the LA Raiders. This is a who gives a fuck bowl kind of game. It's a crap, 2 shit teams. I'm gonna go Tennessee Titans. I feel like no one could beat the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders' early win was against the Patriots. I feel like the Raiders can't beat anyone. They can't beat anyone except the Patriots for that one game. The Raiders are just dog shit too. Like, I mean, I thought they'd be decent when they had Geno Smith and having Pete Carroll as head coach, but nope, they were just terrible. So give me the Tennessee Titans. This should be a really good one. This 49ers and Buccaneers game. 49ers off to a good start. The Buccaneers looked amazing. They always win these close games. I think Tampa Bay wins this again. The Bucs are going to win this one for sure. Oh, I can't talk about this next one. The Cincinnati Bengals at the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are favored by 14.5. The last chance I picked the Packers to cover, they have not worked out. So I'm taking the Bengals in the points. Packers ain't covering. They're not going to win by 2 touchdowns. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Bengals actually beat the Packers in Lambeau. Joe Flacco is going to be 2-0 against the Packers. I'm going to go with Cincinnati Bengals. I think Joe Flacco is going to finish 2-0 against the Packers this year. Sunday Night Football, this is going to be the best game of the week by far. The Detroit Lions at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are 2-3. Lions just red hot. Oh, Lions are going to cook them. It's not even close. Lions are going to blow out the Chiefs. The Chiefs just lost to the freaking Jaguars. You know the Jaguars are good, but I think the Chiefs suck this year. Chiefs will be 2-4 at the end of this week. Count on it. Detroit's legit right now. They're back to themselves. And we got to end the week with 2 Monday night games, starting with my Buffalo Bills taking on the Atlanta Falcons on the road. Bills had a tough loss, and the Falcons had a bye week after a big win over the Commanders. This one kind of scares me, I'll be honest. When I saw the schedule, like, ooh. But now after the loss of the Patriots, there's no way in hell the Bills lose this one. Falcons are kind of a weird team. They might surprise you and win this one, but I got to go with the Bills to cover this one. I think they'll be back. They just got to stay more disciplined and not turn the ball over as much. So give me the Bills. And the 8:15 one, hour after the Bills game, because the Bills play at 7:15. This one's at 8:15. The Bears and the Commanders, what a rematch this will be from last year, because last time these two met, Jaden Daniels threw that Hail Mary to beat the Bears. That was a good game. This is a good matchup. Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, the first 2 quarterbacks taken in last year's draft. I'm going to take the Commanders just because they're feeling good about themselves now after getting their quarterback. They bringing back Jaden Daniels after the injury. The Commanders will cover the spread easily. Thank you all for tuning in for this week's picks. I will see you all next week. Same time, same place. Enjoy the weekend, and hopefully the Yankees win this one tonight.